What is going on, everybody, and welcome back into Bio Studios. Today we're going to be working on a Tumbler project. Now, it is currently Teacher Appreciation Week for my daughter's school. It's almost the end of the year, spring is going into summertime, and they're in the last few weeks before they hit the summer break. Now, we wanted to do something cool for her teacher that we haven't really done in the past for any of her previous teachers, but we want to do something cool. So obviously we're going to do something art related. My daughter is into art, I'm into art. We're always making new things. Now this is a 20-ounce tumbler that we have already created. I'm going to include screenshots or little clips in the upper left-hand corner of us creating this thing. Now it is an epoxy swirl with a glitter finish. It is really gorgeous, and I've had it up on my shelf for a while now, on my trophy shelf, and I never really did put a final coat on it. We're going to go ahead and finish detailing this out, and we're going to go ahead and put a final Flynn Sister epoxy coat on it to lock it all into place. Now, what are we going to be adding to it? Now, she is currently getting married. We don't know what her last name is going to be, so we don't want to put like Mrs. Blank, best teacher in the world, on there. We want something just more fun to her. We do know that she loves Disney. Who doesn't love Disney? We love Disney. We love going to Disney. We love watching Disney. Disney all the way. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a Stitch tumbler. Now it already has an ocean theme type of look to it, as you can see these clips right here. But what we're going to do is we're going to paint Pudge the fish. We're going to paint Lilo underwater with her goggles. And then we're also going to paint a very cool sitting down Stitch with a splatter effect. And then we're going to use that Flynn Sister epoxy to give it a crystal clear layer. I will probably keep these painting videos in 3 different sections. 1, Pudge the fish. 2, Lilo, and then 3, Stitch. So you'll be able to watch those individually in really small, fine-tuned clips. Otherwise, let's go ahead and turn around and let's go ahead and get this awesome thing painted out with some acrylics. All right, you guys, let's jump into this voiceover here. Now, as we paint this out, I want to keep these layers very nice and simple, and I don't want to add too much complexity to this. I also want this to be just something fun that somebody else could follow along the way. And if you wanted to, paint your own little Pudge the fish, whether in a canvas form or like in a little small micro form like this, we're only painting this in about 1.5 inches in length across the edge of the tumbler here. It's just supposed to be very fun. So I'm going to start off by using an acrylic marker or an acrylic pen, and that is a titanium white one. I use that a lot of times to sign my artwork, whether it's at the bottom of a canvas or the bottom of a tumbler. Then I'm going to come in with some titanium white, pure titanium white, and that is a Winsor & Newton. All these are Winsor & Newton paints, you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and give it just a nice base coat layer. Now, you can also cut out a Cricut stencil and just go ahead and stencil on the base and then kind of build up your colors from there if you would like to do that as well. Now, just remember that the first layer is going to be kind of see-through. It's going to be very transparent. And as we introduce more colors, titanium white, cadmium orange hue, cadmium yellow hue, I also pulled out a little bit of a hooker grain as well as a pale olive. And we're going to also incorporate a little bit of yellow ochre as well, mainly for the peanut butter that's squeezing out of the outside edges of the sandwich that Pudge is holding. Again, just in case you just jumped to the middle of this video, or this is like a highlight clip for after the fact, this is Pudge the fish, and then we are going to go ahead and detail paint this just in a very fun and light manner that other people can enjoy as well. I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of Naples yellow to kind of add a little bit of color to the top part of the sandwich. We used a little bit of burnt umber to go ahead and paint the crusts around the outside edges. And now we're going to go ahead and give the entire Pudge the fish a nice layer of pure cadmium orange hue. This is going to give us a good base over the existing titanium white to build up colors and shades on. Now, we're not going to go really advanced with the shades. We're really going to kind of keep it light and airy. I'll introduce a little bit of burnt umber here and there for some shadows, but for the most part, it's yellow, cadmium yellow hue, cadmium orange hue, and we're going to introduce a little bit of that pale olive green in the tail there. I'll come back a few times and get the tip of the fin as well as the tail a little bit more green color there, but I'll come back to that over time. Making sure that we introduce a little bit of that cadmium yellow hue there, because the outside edges of Pudge the fish are supposed to be yellow. He's supposed to be orange fish with yellow coloring and shading, and then he's supposed to have a kind of purple, light purple dots across his back, and then he has a black and blue eyes. kind of define the edge of that kind of like the mouth there, where it's kind of gripping the outside edge of that sandwich there. And I'll come back over the time and I'll kind of detail paint the lips a little bit. But once we add the eyes to the actual fish here, it kind of brings it all together. Adding a little bit of titanium white highlights to the outside edges of the sandwich there. And then I'll bring in a little bit more of that Naples yellow until I really get happy with the overall color saturation on the sandwich, the outside edge of the bread, the flush, flat part of the bread. The outside edges of the crust, I'm really happy with that raw and burnt umber. It really looks good. Bringing more of that cadmium yellow hue in, as I spoke of earlier, and I'm just trying to curate a little bit of yellow across the top of the actual fish there. We're going to keep the right hand side of Pudge of the Fish a little bit darker as far as the orange color, so I'll introduce a little itty bitty amount of raw umber in that. Here we are using a little bit of Windsor blue to give the spots and the eyes their base coat, and I really wanted to reposition that eye. I just feel like it was too far to the right. Went ahead and added a little bit of a titanium white and a pale blue, that's a Winsor Newton pale blue, highlight to the bottom of the eyes, as well as kind of like a glare, a dimple there. Looking pretty good, you guys. Now we'll give the insert of the eyes one titanium highlight there, so I'll give it the smallest detail of titanium white on that, just a small dot, not much at all. And then as we kind of go around the edges of the sandwich there with a pure titanium white, I'll kind of highlight that with the yellow ochre. And of course, where would Pudge the Fish be without those kind of like little crease lines on the bread itself, where the Pudge is holding on to that peanut butter sandwich. How cool is that, you guys? Alright, you guys, so that's the end of the first segment of this little project playlist here, where we are painting Lilo and Stitch characters on this awesome swirl tumbler. It is a beautiful tumbler. It's going to look awesome with all these nice acrylics painted on them. As you can see in this video, we did have fun creating Pudge the Fish with that little peanut butter sandwich. Why do we feed Pudge the Fish? Because he controls the weather, of course. How awesome is that? We just use a few different colors of acrylics, layered them in, just having fun and taking our time. Leave a little bit of that texture paint behind, leave a little bit of that peanut butter squirting out of the edges of that sandwich, because it would be underwater. After all, that water and bread will start to deteriorate, but those fish would enjoy it nonetheless. And of course, like I said, Pudge controls the weather. I will see you guys on the next video of this little painting series here, where we will be working on Lilo. She will be underwater, kind of in a downward cascading effect where she's feeding Pudge the Fish, and she will have her goggles on. So stay tuned for that, guys, and we'll see you in the next awesome acrylic painting video. Later, guys!